With your right hand, simply relax, bring it up just like we talked about, open up your hand and lay it down on your pad or on a table, on a flat surface. So you've just got your hand naturally open and you're laying it down on a flat surface. This is exactly the way Freddie showed me how to hold the stick. You would slip the stick in your hand along the thumb, and then you would close your hand by bringing the first finger to the thumb. In other words, you have your hand open, you have the stick in your hand, and then you close your hand by bringing the first finger to the thumb. Sounds like, why would he even bring that up? Because the way you naturally might want to do it is by pushing the thumb against the first finger, in which case you're going to be turning your whole hand out to the side. And there we've totally destroyed what we did originally, which is having your hand in the most natural, relaxed position. So kind of was a little bit of a trick. Have the stick next to the fatty part of your hand in the back. Close your hand around the stick, and you'll see that the first finger comes against the stick, and you create what is often called a fulcrum, which is the point where you're holding the stick between the thumb and the first finger. You'll learn really fast that the actual fulcrum point within your hand is not between the thumb and the first finger unless you're playing fingers. It's over the second finger most of the time. But right now, let's just look at the point where we're gripping the stick and holding it between that thumb and the first finger. Again, if I take it out and I drop my hand down to my side and I bring it up, I'm in the exact same natural position I was, just sliding the stick in. You're also keeping a nice oval space here, which is really important for later. Again, if you're in a relaxed position and you bring it up, you don't have your thumb up there and you don't have your fingers tightening up my wrist already. I can feel it. So take the stick, slide it into your hand, and bring the first finger over to the thumb, and that allows you to stay in the exact same natural position you were before. So 4 points you might want to remember as Freddie wrote them down in the book. Firm grip in the fulcrum, natural hand position. In other words, you want to secure the stick between the thumb and the first finger and keep the hand position as natural as you can. Number 2, he said, change the stick position to the hand, not vice versa. In other words, keep your hand in its natural position, change the stick position so it fits inside your hand naturally. Bring the index to the ball of the thumb, not vice versa. That's something we just mentioned. And in the right hand, the heel of the stick should be next to the fatty part of the hand. In other words, this being the fatty part of the hand, stick should be close to that. Again, with your right elbow out a little bit, the stick is not exactly straight in line with your forearm. It's a little bit naturally out to the side. And that's the way you should secure the stick inside your hand. Let's take a look at the left hand. You're relaxed. You're in the most natural position. The stick would slip along the curve in the base of your hand with your thumb closing. The first 2 fingers go over the stick. The second 2 fingers go under the stick. So again, if you were to remove the stick, you'd be almost in the same natural position you were before you slide the stick in. So you're housing it in your hand. You're not grabbing onto it. That's really important. Important saying and an important concept. If we get a close-up of Ralph's hand, and if you just maybe take the stick out of your hand for a second, I mean, look how comfortable, how natural your hand position is. Mm-hmm. If you just had it down at your side or you were just comfortably sitting it on a table, exactly, that would be the position you'd be in. And you just stick it in there, and there you have it. And the fingers, your fingers just go around and you feel the stick balancing over that second finger when you start using the wrists. Yeah, talking about the fingers, one way to think about it is that the fingers kind of follow the motion of the stick, but not play the stick until you want to use fingers, of course, and that's going to be a later subject. But for now, when you're doing wrist turns and whatnot, the fingers are pretty much relaxed and just sort of following, what the stick is doing. So if you notice a little bit of opening or closing, let that occur. You don't want to try to freeze the fingers or grab onto the stick with the fingers, because you'll spoil the sound and you'll be adding tension to your grip.